They started deliberations last night just before 6:30 and then called it a night just around 8 o'clock. They returned to the courtroom at 8:30 this morning and then reached their verdict at 9:43. So less than 3 hours of total deliberations behind closed doors to find Darrell Brooks guilty on all 76 charges. Police are saying that Bobby Crimo planned this attack here at the 4th of July parade in Highland Park for weeks. They say he accessed a fire escape ladder on the back of one of the local businesses just a few blocks behind me here, climbed up to the roof, and then started shooting during the parade. About 45 minutes ago, maybe 50 minutes ago, shots actually rang out here in George Floyd Square. Things have kind of gotten back to normal. As you can see behind me, people are starting to filter back into this memorial known as George Floyd Square. Some businesses in Kenosha have had boards on their windows and doors since August, while others, like Frank's Diner here, put their boards back on their windows on Monday in anticipation of the decision in the Jacob Blake case. Yeah, just before jurors entered the courtroom to announce their verdict, Kyle Rittenhouse sat at the defense table, visibly nervous and anxious. Just 3 rows behind him sat his mom and 2 sisters who were all crying. But that all changed just minutes later. As the court clerk read the verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Kyle Rittenhouse collapsed to the ground, shaking as he hugged defense attorney Corey Shirafisi, one of 2 lawyers who convinced the jury Rittenhouse acted in self-defense on August 25th, 2020.
He wishes none of this would have ever happened, but as he said when he testified, he did not start this.
That's lead defense attorney Mark Richards. He spoke with reporters outside of his office shortly after the verdict was reached.
Kyle is not here. He's on his way home. He wants to get on with his life. He has a huge sense of relief for what the jury did to him today.
While the verdict was read, Anthony Huber's girlfriend and great-aunt were seated behind me in the courtroom, along with Joseph Rosenbaum's fiancée, Carrie Ann Swart. All 3 stunned by the acquittal. The Huber family released a statement saying in part, quote, "We are heartbroken and angry that Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted in his criminal trial for the murder of our son, Anthony Huber. There was no justice for Anthony or for Mr. Rittenhouse's other victims, Joseph Rosenbaum and Gage Grosskreutz," end quote. They go on to say, quote, "Make no mistake, our fight to hold those responsible for Anthony's death accountable continues in full force."
You know, I wish nobody died. I wish I never met Kyle Rittenhouse. And I don't mean that because he was a bad client. I just mean because then this wouldn't have happened.
The jury deliberated for nearly 27 hours over 4 days, but they only asked to see video evidence one time. They wanted to see the video from Grosskreuz's live stream when he questioned Rittenhouse after the fatal shooting of Rosenbaum. They also wanted to see drone video, which was a hotly contested piece of evidence between the state and defense. Richards was asked about that. He said he's glad he doesn't have to argue about it in court. He was also asked about the decision to put Rittenhouse himself on the stand.
You want the truth? Had to put him on. It wasn't a close call. At certain points, we wondered whether we would put him on. In Wisconsin, if you don't put a client on the stand, you're going to lose. Period.
Prosecutors Thomas Binger and James Krause did not hold a news conference. Neither did any of the jurors. However, District Attorney Michael Gravely released a statement saying, quote, "We respect the jury verdict based on 3.5 days of careful deliberations. Certainly, issues regarding the privilege of self-defense remain highly contentious in our current times. We ask that all members of the public accept the verdicts peacefully and not resort to violence." Mark Richards said he does not believe that Kyle Rittenhouse will stay living in the area. He says Rittenhouse suffers from PTSD after the incident and has been seeing a therapist for that, saying he also cannot sleep at night. But we do know he is home tonight, Jason.
Andrew, quickly, those jurors were there at the courthouse for 15 days, nearly 4 spent in deliberation. What was their mood like when they finally reached that verdict?
Yeah, some you looked at and they looked exhausted. I mean, spending about 27 hours, as you said, in deliberations takes a lot of work. And some of them even kind of had their faces, their chins in their hands, and some were fidgeting quite a bit. So it definitely goes to show you that this jury really took a lot of time to get to this verdict. All of the entrances to the state capitol here in Madison have been blocked off Sunday. Behind those barricades stand law enforcement and armored trucks just in case of potential armed protests here at the Capitol. There's at least 6 inches of snow out here, and there's a lot. If you have snow on your car and you need to get somewhere today, there is a lot of snow on these cars. I mean, you're going to be brushing for quite a while, so give yourself a little bit of extra time. He didn't really issue an apology, and Judge Darrow said that. She said, quote, "I waited patiently for an apology, a true apology. I didn't get it, and not for my benefit, but for the victims." It's a completely different feel here, Jason, than as you just heard and saw at the Daniel Kelly watch party. Just doing quick math, he's about 14,000 votes ahead of Judge Jennifer Darrow right now, the circuit court judge here in Waukesha County, who had a lot of name recognition for how she handled the Darrell Brooks trial. So there still are cars inside this garage. That's the big question. Now, you still see crews are working to remove that snow here, but the issue is that collapse happened on the main ramp into that garage. So officials say it could be a month before these cars are able to be driven out of this garage. Governor Tony Evers proposed millions of dollars in state funding to go to state programs for public education, mental health, and public safety. That car crash and shooting happened just a block up from where we're standing on 27th Street. I had a chance to speak with some neighbors who live in this area who say they're actually used to some of this more increased police presence in their neighborhood. On Friday, Alex Hook was at recess here at Riverview School in Silver Lake when he was hit in the head with a flying piece of metal. That metal came from a lawnmower that was being used to cut the grass in the center median of the roadway in front of the school. Even though school supplies have been on the shelves for the last month or so, many families might feel that the new school year really kind of snuck up on them. That's why a lot of families used this last weekend before classes start to get some last-minute items. Republicans and Democrats don't always agree on much, but lawmakers on both sides of the aisle here in Madison say there is some common ground they can find when it comes to policymaking in 2023. Jason, Darrell Brooks started the day calling more defense witnesses to the stand, but Friday was by far the most disruptive and angriest we've seen Brooks during the testimony portion of this trial. After calling on 2 witnesses to start the 15th day of trial, Darrell Brooks was scheduled to call his ex-girlfriend Erica Patterson to the stand. He refused, but she was available and ready to go. Judge Jennifer Darrow told him if he didn't call her as his next witness, she'd be released from his subpoena. She said he was trying to stall. Brooks stood up from his table and yelled at the judge.
Fair, and it's disrespectful to me that you think I would come in here purposely and treat this like a joke or a game.
I never said it was a joke.
What type of statement is that?
Mr.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't think it's funny whatsoever.
After a quick break, Brooks came back and called Patterson to the stand.
Since I'm being rushed to judgment.
While on the stand, Brooks was asking Patterson about a statement Detective Steve Guth said Patterson made to him during his investigation of an assault, which led to the parade incident.
She told me she was extremely afraid of you.
Brooks pulled out photos that he said were sent to him by Patterson while he was in jail, despite her testimony that she has not had contact with him. The state objected, and the jury was sent out of the room.
Because we have reason to believe that he did not get them from Erica Patterson. He is on a jail phone call talking to his mother, Dawn Woods, about Dawn Woods sending these photographs to him. Now,
That's a lie. I object to that.
Let the state make their argument without interruption, sir.
That's a lie, though.
Wichal said he felt Brooks was trying to make the jury think Patterson is a bad mom to her kids, and said if Brooks wants to go down that road, he opens the door to a lot of evidence against him.
we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada And for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
The judge did not let Brooks question Patterson again. He was removed from the courtroom multiple times.
In my almost 11 years on the bench, I've presided over dozens and dozens of cases that have gone to trial. To say that this has been the most challenging of my career would be an understatement.
The judge at one point even said she felt scared in the courtroom after Brooks slammed his table.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared. And we're taking a break.
Brooks did call the rest of his 9 witnesses that the state and court wanted him to get through on Friday. He said Friday morning he wants to also call his mom, Dawn Woods. We may see that next week. If not, closing arguments will be heard by the jury next week, and then they will get this case to decide whether or not Darrell Brooks is guilty or not, Jason.
Andrew, the state also wanted to get through a lot more testimony on Wednesday. Any idea where they stand?
Well, the state wanted to rest its case Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. They still had a whole afternoon slated for Wednesday, so that timeline will probably be pushed back. Remember, we're going to go out of order on Wednesday for one of Brooks's witnesses who needed a Spanish translator because of that translator's availability. No word on exactly when that'll happen now just yet, Jason. The investigation here in Highland Park continues this afternoon. Police have been on scene literally around the clock. FBI we've seen making their way kind of to this caution tape that's just behind us. They have been checking all of the different personal belongings that have been left along the parade route here. There have been so many people here all throughout the day. There have been musical performances, speeches. The group Sounds of Blackness performed on a stage just behind me, and now there's been kind of a candlelight vigil just off to my left in what's considered George Floyd Square. It's all part of what the George Floyd family calls a celebration. Paris Stevens says the past year has been incredibly difficult.
We'll never forget what happened. It's been overwhelming. This whole year has been a whirlwind.
She's George Floyd's cousin. She's also the co-chair of the George Floyd Global Memorial. It's the organization that put together an event called Rise and Remember. It was a celebration at the intersection of 38th Street and Chicago Avenue in Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed a year ago.
This today is about celebration of life. We want to celebrate Perry. We want to celebrate those that have lost their lives, but we also want to celebrate each other.
From live music performances and speeches to a candlelight vigil to end the night, hundreds of people made their way to George Floyd Square to do just that.
It's been amazing. We've had the support of the whole world, but this community has always been here. It's always kept this place sacred and fighting for the streets.
Stevens says a lot of work still has to be done.
We've been here for over 400 years. Things are not going to change overnight. It's not. But as long as you have a heartbeat, change can happen.
A big part of that work is urging U.S. senators to, as she said, walk the walk.
First of all, we need to pass that Police Reform Act.
But she said the past year has shown her it's possible, even though it's been tough.
We know that change has come, and it gives us hope. It's hope for the community. It's hope for all.
Now, this time last year, emotions were running high. There was a lot of unrest, both in Minneapolis and across the country. But as you heard George Floyd's cousin there say, there is a sign of optimism this evening. Reporting live in Minneapolis, Andrew Havranek. Both Milwaukee mayoral candidates believe they bring something different to City Hall. For Cavalier Johnson, he says his experience growing up in what he called a depressed neighborhood will help him, while on the other hand, Bob Donovan says his experience in elected office will help him get more things done. They got to walk a red carpet into like this gathering area. Then they lined up by class and they went inside. So those students, first day of school, they're already in classes this morning. This is Leroy Butler's brand new locker here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. You have his Packers helmet, his blue high school football helmet, and of course his game-worn Packers jerseys, all on display here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's being enshrined this weekend, and I had a chance to speak with some fans who traveled from Green Bay to find out what this weekend means to them as fans. Scott Cagle and his godson, Tyler Buchholz, made the nearly 600-mile drive from Green Bay to Canton, Ohio, for one reason.
Down here to see Leroy Butler go in.
This was Buchholz's first time at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but Cagle has made the trip several times.
This probably marks my 7th or 8th time that I remember. I was here in 03 when Lofton went in, saw him go in. 16 when Favre went in, 18 Kramer. 13, when Robinson went in, and now here with Butler.
Soon, Butler's bronze bust will be on display at the Hall, but fans can already check out that locker full of memorabilia inside. It's an exciting thing for Packers faithful, whether from Green Bay or not. Tim Parsons, known as the ultimate Packer backer, is from Louisville, Ohio.
I'm a Packers fan because of Brett Favre, the gunslinger. That's made me a Packers fan.
He goes to every enshrinement ceremony, whether a Packers player is going in or not. And yes, he goes dressed up just like this every time, decked out in green and gold.
These little guys, they're my rivals. I've got Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota. They're my little voodoo dolls. I made those up. And this other necklaces that I've made, little trinkets, Hall of Fame, Kramer.
His cheese head, though, changes every year.
I got the Madden bust.
I had a chance to talk with him about what a potential national ban of that app would mean for businesses like him and others who rely on the social media app. Nick Christensen is the man behind the TikTok account MillWeb1. It's also the name of his business in Franklin, where he makes vinyl banners, yard signs, posters, and other decals. He first started posting on TikTok about 3 years ago.
So I went to make a video, and one video pretty much went viral. I think it was like 2 million within a week. And I gained 10,000 followers within that week, so it was really exciting, and it gives you like the adrenaline to just want to make more content.
And that's exactly what he's been doing ever since. His TikTok page is full of videos of him boxing up yard signs that people order from him. A lot of them funny, like this one that says, "My neighbor is a Karen." Today, he has 2.6 million followers, 62.1 million likes on his content, and has an estimated 1.5 billion views on TikTok alone.
And for the most part, people understand it's just a joke and just having fun. So I'll throw the box or I'll break the box. It's a lot better than being simple and clean. People like some drama basically with it. So it's just an entertaining form of just shipping videos. So it seems very basic, but that basic stuff really seems to capture an audience.
He was established before TikTok, so his business of making banners, yard signs, and decals isn't reliant on his video views. But many small businesses, even in Milwaukee and around Wisconsin, do. That's why he hopes there isn't a nationwide ban on the app, something that has been proposed by lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I think it'd be devastating for new businesses that started with TikTok and make quite a good living off of it. So that, I think, would hurt overall, I think this will hurt the economy if we lost TikTok.
He's been worried about the potential ban since it was first brought up a few years ago. So he's been posting on YouTube, which has rolled out a feature called YouTube Shorts. He's also had millions of views there with 158,000 subscribers. With other social media companies developing similar features, he thinks finding ways to regulate content across these platforms is better than just banning one site.
And I'm afraid that, just because we get rid of TikTok, those trends will not stop. They'll be the same on every other platform. So we're still going to have an issue, but I feel like that will go unresolved.
Christensen has no plans to stop posting content. It's fun for him, and he makes some extra cash from it. And for what it's worth, I tried, and it's not nearly as easy as he makes it look. In Franklin, Andrew Havranek, Spectrum News. Views on TikTok alone.
And for the most part, people understand it's just a joke and just having fun. So I'll throw the box or I'll break the box. It's a lot better than being simple and clean. People like some drama basically with it. So it's just an entertaining form of just shipping videos. So it seems very basic, but that basic stuff really seems to capture an audience.
He was established before TikTok, so his business of making banners, yard signs, and decals isn't reliant on his video views. But many small businesses, even in Milwaukee and around Wisconsin, do. That's why he hopes there isn't a nationwide ban on the app, something that has been proposed by lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I think it'd be devastating for new businesses that started with TikTok and make quite a good living off of it. So that, I think, would hurt overall, I think this will hurt the economy if we lost TikTok.
He's been worried about the potential ban since it was first brought up a few years ago. So he's been posting on YouTube, which has rolled out a feature called YouTube Shorts. He's also had millions of views there with 158,000 subscribers. With other social media companies developing similar features, he thinks finding ways to regulate content across these platforms is better than just banning one site.
And I'm afraid that, just because we get rid of TikTok, those trends will not stop. They'll be the same on every other platform. So we're still going to have an issue, but I feel like that will go unresolved.
Christensen has no plans to stop posting content. It's fun for him, and he makes some extra cash from it. And for what it's worth, I tried, and it's not nearly as easy as he makes it look. In Franklin, Andrew Havranek, Spectrum News. He's a star on the football field, and he's a standout in the classroom, making him our latest scholar athlete. 4 days a week, George Hoyt takes the ice for hockey practice with the Brookfield Stars. It's a co-op team made up of high school students from 6 local schools. They play their games on Fridays and Saturdays. Earlier this year, Hoyt wasn't sure he was going to be able to skate for his last season with the team.
First game of my football season, I tore my ACL. I was trying to block somebody. It just landed weird, so that's what happened.
His hockey coach, Greg Copeland, remembers that phone call.
The first thing I told him is, it's terrible news. He's a great kid. He's coming into his senior year. He's named captain of the team. I just told him to just take care of himself, but also, it doesn't change our overall plan for him for the year of being a leader.
Hoyt had surgery in September, and the typical recovery time from an ACL injury is 9 months. He was back on the ice in January, only missing the first 10 games of the hockey season.
Worked hard every day. Kind of a crazy story, amazing story, actually.
Copeland says it's a testament to Hoyt's dedication and natural leadership skills as an athlete, but he's also shown that same tenacity in the classroom. Kelly Roberts is a teacher at Wauwatosa East. She ran the Academic Resource Center last year and needed student tutors for math. She knew Hoyt was advanced in that area and could be a great asset to younger students.
There was never any this is the math I did when I was in 6th grade. It was, he was kind, he was pragmatic, he just made kids feel at ease, and it was just really appreciated.
That's one of the things that drives Hoyt. He says he likes to help people succeed.
Well, I think that math gets a bad reputation of being rigorous and not that useful, but if you're able to grasp the basic principles of it, it can really open up a lot of opportunities and modes of thinking for you. So I just wanted other people to have the opportunity to think like that.
With a 3.97 GPA, Hoyt's future is looking bright. While he hasn't made a final decision, Hoyt has been accepted to the University of Wisconsin-Madison and has a deferred acceptance to MIT.
And it's one of the best schools in the world, so I'm excited about that.
Andrew Thompson, a physical education teacher at Tosa East, says Hoyt is the epitome of what the school wants in a student athlete.
If you really want something, whether it's academically or in the weight room, on the football field, on the rink, whatever it is, you just got to work, and good things happen to those who work, and he is a testament to that.
Unfortunately, the Brookfield Stars fell just short of making it to the state tournament for the second year finals. Despite those losses, Hoyt was glad to be on the ice.
I've really learned to not take things for granted that you have, so I'm just really happy to be out here.
Continually working hard on and off the ice to be as successful as possible. Now, it's not clear how much the city is seeking in damages. The city will be represented by the same firm representing the city of Madison, which joined this lawsuit earlier this month. It will not cost the city to be part of this lawsuit, but the attorneys would get a portion of the money awarded if the city wins or settles with Kia and Hyundai. The city attorney's office says this will be a long process. As far as the consumer aspect of this, though, for those who have had their Kias or Hyundais stolen, that will be something entirely separate of this lawsuit. In the studio, Andrew Havranek, Spectrum News.
Fun weekend ahead for a lot of folks if you plan on going down to Summerfest. It kicks off today in Milwaukee, and our Andrew Havranek joins us live as we await the opening of the gates at noon. He's having some fun with a little merch. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Sashel. Yeah, gates open at noon, just about 4.5 hours from now. So fans will be making their way to see some of their favorite bands, their favorite artists, and they'll be taking, as we were talking about in the last half hour, a lot of photos and videos of those artists. But what is a trip to a summer music festival without some brand new merchandise? Whether that's hoodies, might be a little too hot for a hoodie right now, but those will come in handy later on this year, some t-shirts, and pretty much everything else you can think of. That's why right now we're joined by Dan Elias. He is the merch guy here at Summerfest. Dan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. So excited. Happy opening day.
Yeah, happy opening day. Kind of tell us what you've got here. What's new this year?
Well, everything in the store for the most part is new, and it's a challenge because we have to design about 45 different garments, plus we have tons of gift items. We really want to have something for everybody.
And what are some of the different items that people can get? I know we can see different socks and hats and cups behind us, but what do you have here today?
So we have pints, silicone pint glasses and wine cups. These are BPA-free, microwave safe, dishwasher safe, and they're virtually indestructible.
You can't do that with glass.
Worked much better in rehearsal.
There is one thing, though, that it blew my mind when you showed me this. It is a hoodie, but it turns into something. He's going to show us a little bit of a demonstration. What exactly is this?
Okay, so this is the quick flip, and this is the sweatshirt to have at a festival because, like on a day like today, okay, it's going to be beautiful, but it might get cooler at night. So we recommend that you purchase the sweatshirt here, and then when you're not wearing it, what do? Right? You either have to wrap it around your waist, or you throw it over your shoulder, or you're holding it on your arm, and none of those are comfortable. They're not good looks. But this one, what's unique about it is that there's a pocket sewn in the bottom, so you just reach in, 1, 2, 3, and tuck that in, and now you have a backpack.
A backpack, a hoodie that turns into a backpack, because when you're here at a hot festival in the middle of the summer, those hoodies, as he said, it does get hot, and it's not maybe flattering to wear it around your waist or anything like that. Right on his back, just like one of those drawstring backpacks, and they are in the store, and if you want to find them, there is a sticker on these hoodies that says, "Stop, this is also a backpack." So a pretty cool, different kind of merchandise here at Summerfest this year. There is a lot of different things here this year, Dan. Exciting time to be back here in the summer for Summerfest. We have one more live hit coming up in about a half an hour, so Sashel, we will see you soon.
All right, and in that time, I'm going to Cash App you some money, Andrew, because that was really cool.
On Sunday afternoon, the Milwaukee Brewers won their first NL Central Division title since 2018. And the players say they were pumped to be able to win that division title in front of more than 43,000 fans at American Family Field. But as you can see behind me, the cleanup of those celebrations is already started. And so has the work for the Brewers' next goal. That goal is a World Series championship. It's a moment Brewers fans won't forget. Josh Hader throwing the final pitch, getting the last out for an 8-4 victory over the New York Mets, clinching the National League Central Division title.
It was up in the air. It felt like it was up in the air for a little bit longer than I thought, but Yelly came down, and that's the special thing. It's get 3 outs and take the division is special.
The celebration started on the field, then went to the clubhouse, where the champagne shower was shown on the Jumbotron in front of more than 43,000 fans.
Huge. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah. It's great.
following that big Bucks championship. Let's keep it rolling for the Brewers, baby.
You know, we've been working for this for years and years, and it feels wonderful to be here to celebrate with them today.
The team agreed. Players wanted to celebrate with the fans who didn't get a chance to see them play in person at all just a year ago. They came back out onto the field after their Champaign Clubhouse celebration to continue the party with Milwaukee faithful. It's something Christian Yelich said means a lot to him.
It's awesome. Compared to last year, we made the playoffs, but we weren't allowed to do any of this stuff, and obviously there was no fans around, so it's pretty special this year. You definitely appreciate it each and every time you get the chance to do something like this, and hopefully it's the first of a few.
Their work isn't done yet. In fact, it's just beginning, but this team believes it has what it takes to make it all the way.
No, this team's special, man. I think the biggest thing is that we always have each other's backs, and we play as hard as we can all 9 innings, and we never give up.
Well, we've won a lot of games, and I mean that's you get 10 teams make the playoffs, 6 teams win divisions. It's not easy to get in the playoffs in baseball, and to win a division's not easy. You win a division, you're a special team.
Monday is an off day, but it's not time for the postseason just yet. There's still an entire week of ball to be played. So how will the team approach this week? Who will rest up?
Give me a day, all right?
We'll see you back at the ballpark in October for the divisional series. Reporting from American Family Field, Andrew Havranek, Spectrum News. I'm doing great. First off, it has been incredible down here in the Deer District. Just minutes before this game ended, it was tense. But now... As I said, it has been absolutely incredible. I'll let you get a view of this. But as I was saying, it is absolutely a party out here in the Deer District. These fans are chanting Bucks in 6, and that came true.
I just want to say I really love Milwaukee, and this is a great game, and let's go Bucks and only fans! Woo!
Let's go Bucks. As I said, incredible atmosphere down here. It was on edge a little bit toward the end of that game, but as soon as it was for sure that the Bucks were going to win, this turned into a party. There are people that have climbed up onto light poles down here. The fireworks you may have seen being lit from the top of Fiserv Forum just adds to this incredible atmosphere that the city of Milwaukee has waited for 50 years. And tonight, they finally get to celebrate that, Jason.